Hi guys, it's Opheana and Sikaal here. Today we are light workers, cosmic shamans, and today we want to talk to you about connecting to nature.
Yes, connecting to nature, the spiritual connection to nature, the physical connection to nature, emotionally and mentally being supported by nature. We find so much joy from our connection with nature, and we wanted to share some of our experiences, how to connect with nature to support your ascension process, how to live your daily life deeply connected with nature, deeply connected with Mother Gaia, with Mother Earth, with the air, with the water, with the fire,
Elements.
the sun, all the elements,
Yeah.
the four elements. We play with the four elements every single day within our energy work. And so, you know, one of our big joys in our life is connecting with nature. Is the birds, the avians are very strong in our field, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And we have times when we've moved through something or are moving through something to the next level, or the teams are communicating with us, where our family is outside, or one of us see a bird in our bird bath or something like that, and we all sort of go outside and connect. And we've sometimes had more than 5 different breeds, and we're talking parrots and butcherbirds and kookaburras and tiny little finches and huge black cockatoos.
Very colourful birds,
lorikeets,
colourful,
like
colourful.
blue, purple, reds, greens, and they come and they stare at us and we stare at them. And some of them, they just really, especially the parrots, they just really look into you, and there's a real transmission, as we've shared in the past. It's a way for spirit to actually speak to you, to transmit to you. So the teams, your ascension teams, just off-planet beings, high frequency beings, can speak to you through animals, through insects, through signs, through these birds. And it's a really beautiful way to just come back to your center, breathe, and acknowledge the frequency that they're really trying to tell you. For instance, if you've got an annoying bird knocking at your window, or squawking outside your window, because we have the crows or the ravens in Australia, as you guys do. We have what are the larks called? They're very loud.
Yeah, like mud larks.
Yeah, we have magpies come and have a chat with us. All sorts of different birds come, and they give us information at different times. And for instance, a while back when there was some psychic attack, there was one lark that was literally on the windowsill outside of our bedroom very early in the mornings.
Very loud.
And it would just go, rah, rah, and it was saying, guys, wake up and do a clearing. And so we would, and off they go again. And it's this beautiful couple of larks, and they open their wings and they speak to us whenever there's a little reminder that we need, if we're just cruising through the day. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's do another little bit of energy work. It's a beautiful way to just feel the flow through your day.
And nature, it brings you back into the now. It connects you to your nature.
Yes.
Both your starseed nature and your human nature, your earthly nature, and all of the mix that you are. And whether you live in the busiest city and there's not a lot of nature around, or you're surrounded by the most nature you can imagine, there's always ways to connect to nature, because the teams were saying as well that even if you live in a big city, you can go to a park or even be on a little bit of grass and understand that nature and the plants are all connected in a large matrix or
beingness
of their own consciousness. So with that, you can connect to much more nature energetically than you can imagine. It's not just about having, you know, the grounding of your feet on the grass, if that's what you like, or in the dirt. It's about also understanding that all of that is connected to the natural world. And so even if you are in a busy city or a town and you don't really get the chance to go to the forest or in nature or to waterfalls or to the ocean or whatever,
make some time.
You can make some time, yes, but also you can still connect to nature, and this will allow your teams to keep communicating powerfully with you, and they'll keep you connected to the heartbeat of Gaia, which we've mentioned before is very important in these full energetic times of timeline changes, things ever moving and shifting. So nature then becomes an anchor point, becomes a point of stillness and a point of very clear and reasonably easy communication from your spirit and your teams through to you. All you got to do is pay attention. And so if you're used to paying attention, beautiful, maybe you could do so even more, and you'll get even more messages. And if you haven't thought about it that way, think about the fact that even the smallest of beings, the insects, can talk to you. If you see a small ladybug come all of a sudden be in your world, it probably can mean something, or it can be a connection to nature or a reminding of something to the largest animals that come across your path. And so really use nature and that connection to help you to understand if you need to align things, or to give you that breath of, ah, yes, okay, in this busyness I can drop out of the mind and remember I'm connected to the natural world, which is then connected to, you know, Earth and the galaxy and the universe, and I am part of all of that. It's not just about my human life, it's about myself and the nature and the natural order of being and beingness. So all of that is very connected.
That's very beautiful. One of the powerful ways that we connect as well as in water. I think we've shared before as well. Water is such a strong element to immerse yourself in water. You know, we do it in our meditations as well, where we drop into liquid light and different realms, etc., etc. You can feel the frequency of immersing yourself in liquid, and when it's very clean, clear water, it's really cleanses all of the energy bodies. It realigns. You're very much in the now. You're very much in yourself. You're allowing spirit to flow through you. You're connecting with flow. You know, emotion, energy in motion. You're aligning the emotions. You know, in the ocean, the waves. You're allowing the energy to move through you. One of my favorite things to do, I'm very much a water being, is lay with my feet towards the waves, and the waves just wash up through my whole body, and then the other way as well. And I also love it when the waves bash through my body, and I just like, it just breaks up anything that's in the field that you just, you know, don't need anymore. And again, when it rains, you know, the negative ions, it aligns. So rather than staying inside saying, oh, it's raining, go out and just feel a couple of drops and just really acknowledge and smell the frequency, the breeze, the wind. Another one of my favorite things, I just love it all really, is just seeing the wind blow grass and leaves, and the caress of Mother Nature with her beings of you know, the branches, the trees, and then she also, you know, waves some wind over my skin. I mean, we are all so very connected, and when you drop into that kind of stillness where you can witness those moments where you can acknowledge, oh, there's an insect in the house, what are they saying, you know? There's a grasshopper near me, oh, really big jumps forward, okay, let me feel
like big
into
initiations.
Big initiations, that type of thing. It's a small initiation, a small little cricket, or a really big one. It's like, whoa, rather than like, get that thing out. Yeah. You know, we as a family really embrace every single animal. I used to have a bit of a phobia of cockroaches, had some yucky yucky experience as a young one, a couple of yucky experiences. Most people don't like cockroaches, but we've really come to terms with that they're another bug in the world, and to not thoroughly dislike them. And so I've moved from a type of phobia to actually being able to pick them up and put them outside. It's very different for me. It really blows me away that I've moved from that kind of situation. And then there's, you know, ants are another one. They're very group consciousness. You can see ants accumulate sometimes. Sometimes it's a group consciousness thing that you're moving through, a challenge, an initiation, that type of thing. Frogs, you know, that is a real midwifery feel with them, so it can be birthing, as we've said before. Really large spiders for us symbolize birthing, because, you know, the mother just carries all of these babies on their back, and then they just disperse everywhere and start new lives and weave the web of life. Another really special animal that we've connected with and just absolutely adore is a koala on our property. We feel deeply blessed because there's not that many koalas. There was millions of koalas in Australia way back.
Now there's 40 to 100,000.
So it's quite rare. And so we have koala, and apparently within their land space they have trees that are specific to their needs. And so they have a tree that, or a couple of trees that are their kitchen, where they chew, because they just eat eucalyptus leaves all day, gum leaves all day long. And they have like a lounge space and maybe a breeding area, etc., etc. So, and they're quite solitary animals. And our guy, they make the most hilarious sound as well. It's like a bit of a hog when they're calling to the female. And so we've called him Coco Koala. And he actually, one of his kitchen trees is directly outside our kitchen window. And he's just divine, and he sits out there about 10-15 meters from our window, and we can just connect with this extraordinary koala who is just really doing his thing. He's just chilling. He's being in his life. He's really just sitting in himself. He hasn't got a care in the world, just relaxes. And so there's messages within that as well, and the abundance that he has of just picking which leaves he wants, etc., the relaxation of his life.
You know, and also in these crazy galactic solar system universal times, it really brings you back to, again, a still point when you connect with an animal like that. And we understand that not all of you will have this type of wildlife around, but all of you will have it to different degrees, and you can choose to seek it out as well, and even move to those type of areas, you know, that suits the level that you're after. But animals that we have as well are wallabies, like, you know, they're like small kangaroos, and they just hop in groups through the property as well. Large 7, 8, 9 foot snakes, large goannas, you know, that are up to 1.5, 2 meters. Huge.
And the bearded dragon who birthed
and the bearded dragon who birthed on our property. So there's a lot of that type of stuff, and we love that, and we love that connection, the symbolism, but also the remindings of our deep connection to Gaia as starseeds here on our mission. And so all of that is connecting us to our nature. So nature connects us to our nature. And it's interesting when you realize that as you move through your timelines, nature moves with you. So even though nature perhaps is in, you could see that as maybe second density, so then third density is, you know, humans, and then moving on beyond that to fourth density, where the new world and the new timelines are moving towards. And so nature moves along with you. What actually happens is your communication with nature increases. Your connection with nature strengthens. And it's like your telepathic nature and your empathic nature with these beings, and the messages they can then convey from your spirit and your teams becomes a lot more powerful, and it all works more in symbiosis and synchronicity. And it is so powerful if you haven't gotten into a habit of even seeing little creatures in your daily life, no matter where you live, as symbolism for you. It's very powerful to start doing so, because that shows spirit that you're up for those type of messages. And often when the mind is busy and it's hard to receive informations and the veils are thick, nature is your number one go-to place. It's beautiful. Where you can hear you need to align a bit more there, or watch out for that connection, or don't do that project, or move away from that situation, don't visit there as often, or look at the blessings you got here, or wow, this is coming for you, all of those type of things. So use nature, connect with nature as a very powerful spiritual instrument to receive guidance very clearly, even if the veils are so thick that you really don't know what's going on, or you're so trying to get guidance all the time but you're not hearing clearly from spirit. Let spirit talk through nature. Very powerful instrument.
Absolutely. And to also bring in, you know, the clouds in the sky, and the stars, the storms, all of the different, the lightning, the thunder, really appreciate, really get into the nitty-gritty of what's going on in the field. You can feel different dynamics, and even while you're speaking, you can be speaking, and then you come to a place of centeredness, and then the breeze just really comes through you. It's your teams, they can do this stuff, you know. And also, just to mention on rock beings, you know, we've gone to some pretty special sacred places where there's a lot of crystals and a lot of large boulders and rocks, and there's beings there, and there's elementals that take care of these places. Just always remembering the deep respect of all beings on this planet, all rocks, all types of plants, trees, weeds, everything has its place, and really coming into a connection with the divinity of all. The divinity of all out there is the divinity of all within you. The judgment of what's out there is the judgment within you. You know,
even the fear. You know, the fear. Like when I came to Australia, I wasn't used to the intensity of the animals. You know, there's a lot of poisonous and venomous animals here as well, and the spiders can get really big, and all that type of stuff, and that. You know, you had to get used to it, and you grow through it. Our kids love handling all sorts of animals, from the big to the small animals, venomous, non-venomous, and they're very careful, obviously. But I've grown through that, so now my appreciation with nature is stronger, and I understand nature better, and I'm not afraid anymore, and I know that how to judge that as well. So
it's respect, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is a respect both ways, and you can see that these creatures look in your eyes as well. So it's a real connection to that, saying we are all one, and that means everything is the same universal energy, no matter what you'd like to call that. If you want to call it God, goddess, or spirit, or universal energy, or chi, or whatever, everything is connected. And so with nature is one of the powerful ways for you to realize that, and it drops you into a calm place of, it's okay. It's okay. And when you really need some signals the most that things are okay, or which way to go to assist you to make decisions, nature has helped us so often and keeps doing so. So perhaps it can do the same for you as well if you so choose.
Absolutely. Just go and sit on the dirt. You know, if you're just really lost, you know, if one of the kids are just a bit off for a second, I just, you know, straight away they just clear as soon as they're outside again, and they just feel the breeze on their skin, touch a tree, anything like that. It's very important to acknowledge it's part of the process here, the journey here, the ascension process here. And again, if you're craving that nature, here I go again, make the changes and the shifts to get more nature into your life. To think, okay, well, what kind of environment really suits me? What's in the highest for me now? Maybe I can make some steps towards it, you know, just gradually move my way out of the city, or get closer to the ocean, or get closer to the mountains, or whatever it is that your system is saying this is in the highest for you. Work on the beliefs of why you're not getting there, and really acknowledge it's what you want, it's what your spirit is calling to you, that will fulfill you, satisfy you, allow you to come into that centered place to do your mission, to be fulfilled in your daily life.
But you know, if there's an ideal dream that you have, like living in the mountains on whatever acreage property or whatever, don't let that stop you from waiting until you get there to have this, because you can have that right now. And it's actually you growing these muscles and connecting to nature that will actually help to move you towards where you really want to go and where your spirit will continue to guide you towards.
Beautiful, guys. Well,
Thank you,
our
guys.
nature acknowledges your nature. Many blessings to all beings on
Many
this
blessings.
planet, and may we respect them as they respect us. We love you guys.
Many blessings. See you next time. Bye.